What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so former NBA superstar and NBA Hall of Famer, basketball Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady recently revealed his all-time starting lineup in an interview with Ice Sports. It wasn't so much who he had on this list as much as who he left out. He left out Michael Jordan. He said of his all-time starting lineup, he said, I got LeBron James at the point. I got Kobe at the 2 guard. Of course, I'm going to be at the 3. I got Tim Duncan at the 4. And I got Shaq at the 5. And that's not to go against anyone. That's just my 5. Now, of course, obviously, he has Kobe Bean Bryant at the 2. Michael Jordan primarily played the 2 during his NBA career, although he also spent time playing the 3, playing the point 1 year. I think it was the 88-89 season. And if those, for those of you who remember watching it with the Wizards, sometimes he would play the 4. But at that point in time, Michael Jordan was up to 225, 230 pounds. Look, if this was a younger version of me, if this was like the 2009 version of me, I would get all irritated and say insulting things about Tracy McGrady. But number one, this is his opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion. Number two, I have had opinions and still have opinions that the majority of you guys don't agree with. I believe Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT. I can give many reasons why I feel like that is the case, but you guys will still say that I'm talking like, when I talk about that, it sounds like I've been smoking some wacky tobacco. You know what I'm saying? I'm on that. I've been smoking some ill-ish, right? So I think people do have to learn how to accept other people's opinions, especially when it's coming from a place of sincerity. Because sometimes people just take opinions just to push and promote an agenda that they really truly don't feel. You know what I'm saying? Also, not that it matters, but I'm just going to put it out there. Trace McGrady has already stated just a few months ago, I think it was this past summer, that he thought Michael Jordan was the GOAT over LeBron James. And he had Michael Jordan as one of his top 5 greatest scorers to ever play the game. So he definitely has affinity toward Michael Jordan. I think that what might be a more appropriate title for this is, I guess you could say all-time starting 5, but really, if you look at the people who are in this top 5, with the exception of LeBron, but then again, he kind of competed against LeBron, but these are more people that he competed against. You know what I'm saying? Kobe, he battled against Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, they basically, at one point in time, you could argue 2002, 2003, 2004, they were like the number 1, number 2 perimeter players in the NBA. Trace McGrady and Kobe. There was even an argument that somehow Trace was better than Kobe, as hard as that is to believe right now. For those of you who remember Trace McGrady with Orlando Magic, that was a legitimate argument back in 2002, 2003, 2004. Shaq, that's the guy of that's the most dominant big man outside of Wilt Chamberlain, in my opinion, and maybe George Mikan, but definitely the most dominant big man of the past 50 years. No question about it. You know what I'm saying? I watched Shaq. Shaq was unbelievable. I know sometimes I come across as a Shaq hater. It's usually because I'm trying to compare Shaq with Wilt in those arguments, which I think Shaq loses. But when it comes to dominance, unstoppability, that's a term. Uh, Shaq is that. Kobe is the closest thing we've seen to Michael Jordan, as I said before. So, and he competed against Tracy, so I don't have a problem with that. That's a guy that he competed against uh, much more frequently than Michael Jordan. And plus, he didn't go up against Michael Jordan for the most part in his prime. Uh, he competed against LeBron James, you know, and I guess being that he competed against Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and not Magic Johnson, you know, he might feel more compelled to have him in that position. Also, he didn't really compete. I mean, he did a little bit, but he didn't really compete against Steph Curry like that. You know what I'm saying? Not in his prime. Um, so when you see the list, it definitely makes sense that he had guys that he competed against or guys that were in his era. So Tim Duncan, obviously, that's a guy that is the greatest power forward of all time, I think, in most people's eyes. That's definitely a guy that was part of the 2000 era where Tracy McGrady reigned supreme. Most of these guys come from that 2000s era. Kobe, uh, McGrady, Tim Duncan, Shaq. Now, LeBron, he came of age in '03. He did compete against them, but the best of LeBron came a little later. Like I said before, the other candidates, Steph Curry, he didn't really compete against Steph Curry. I'm talking about Trace McGrady. Not really. I mean, he did, but, he was a shell of himself by then. He didn't play against Magic Johnson. Didn't play against Isaiah Thomas. Didn't play against Oscar Robertson. You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense, even though LeBron is not technically a point guard, but he can play that position. So like I said, I don't have a problem with that lineup because I know that's really, it's like his personal fave all-time starting five lineup. That's not a historical assessment type lineup to me. You know what I'm saying? Even though it says all-time, it's really to me like his personal favorite all-time starting lineup, and it makes sense that he would have guys he competed against. That's how I look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever people keep saying, like, I notice when people ask a lot of these young players or young celebrities or young people in general, who's your GOAT? They don't. It's like GOAT is beginning to lose its meaning. Like the answers that they give to that question is no longer historically like, oh, who's the best player in NBA history. It's more like, who's your favorite player. That's pretty much what that is now. When people ask you, who's your GOAT, it's like it's lost its original meaning. It's not answering the question as who's the greatest player of all time in any respective sport. You know, it's more like, who's your favorite. And of course, you have young people. More than likely, they're going to be uh, biased to answer someone or give an answer to about someone that's a little bit more recent. By the way, when it comes to baseball, I don't know if I really truly have a GOAT because there's so many different candidates. I will say this: to me, the greatest baseball players in the history of that sport are probably Willie Mays, who unfortunately we lost last year, Babe Ruth, um, Hank Aaron. Those are the guys that pop up. I know some people say Ty Cobb, but I can't give love to a racist. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Not a virulent, outspoken racist. Hell no. You know. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. I ain't got no hate toward Tracy. You know what I'm saying? He got a right to put that list up because I know it's not coming from a place of malice. It's coming from a place of, he put guys up there who he competed against. You know? And plus, man, look, Kobe's the closest thing we've seen to Michael Jordan, man. And you know what I'm saying? He definitely, if anything, I look at it as almost like a tribute to Kobe. That's all I got to say. What you guys think?